Hi and welcome to this week's GMBN Tech Show. Coming up on the show this week, we have a look at some very cool open source tooling or tools from Hope Technology.
And we've got some custom paint in the UCI Downhill World Champs.
We've got some fancy new tools from Knipex. So starting the show, I just want to talk a little bit about some tools actually, because I got these for an actual video I'm going to be making on a channel soon. So I don't know if anyone's familiar with these, but they're for putting a wire on grips essentially. But then also I had these turn up through the post, which is a brand new set from Knipex, which I'm probably going to get to in a bit.
Yeah, but forget that, because this came with it, didn't it? And this is the most important tool you'll ever need in your toolbox. No, it's not a broken set of pliers. This is a flash and offner, which is a bottle opener, basically.
Well,
how cool
Anna,
is that?
This is also a bottle opener.
Is it?
This is a bottle opener. This is a bottle opener. In fact, pretty much any tool you have in your workshop is a bottle opener.
Prove it.
Okay, we'll get there. Hear me out here. The bike industry has tried for a long time to convince you that you need to have separate bottle openers. But this very nice one from Park here that's got a bottle opener and a corkscrew on it.
Ooh,
so doubles up. Very nice tool. You've got the classic bottle opener just for flowing off. Friends at Pin TV, bottle opener. Again, Rideworks, another bottle opener.
Ooh.
You see, I don't know what's going on with mountain bikes here, but there's some genuine tools. Now, I don't want to undo this one because it's got a signature from Greg Minor on it, but on the back of here, yeah, they've got a bottle opener, retro mountain bike stem. Well, all right, confess it's not a tool, but it did the best thing for a horrible tiller like that. Cut a chunk out of it,
yeah,
and it's a bottle opener. Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
SRAM and Avid have been doing this for years on their pad spacers. That one's a bottle opener on the side of the pad spacer, which is really cool because a lot of you probably have these just laying around and you've never used them. That's a bottle opener. This one is a bottle opener as well.
No way, I never even noticed
that. Yeah, how cool is that? And then friends at Ibis, they make bottle openers, but that one I guess looks more like a belt buckle. But...
yeah, it does.
And 24/7, don't know if anyone remembers them from back in the day. They had these really cool pedals with titanium axles, bottle openers built on them. But probably, in fact, actually, here we go. There's even this one, the legendary Campag.
I suppose that is a bottle opener of sorts. It's not a beer bottle opener.
But let's face it, the only bottle opener any mountain biker really needs is that one. Tie lever. It fits in your pocket.
How are you going to get it open with that?
Well, I was hoping you would ask that.
Are you going to use the spoke hooks?
This. I mean, I know this isn't proper beer, but come on.
I'm going to be impressed.
It's lunchtime. Oh, it's easy. It's just simple leverage, isn't it?
Whoa!
There we go.
How did you do that? I've never got the strength to do that. I think I'll stick with my flash and off.
Look at that. It's going all over the table. Well, it's only Corona, luckily. It's not real beer, so yeah, we have to worry about that.
So does that mean a bike is a bottle opener? Because everyone keeps doing whips to open up bottles at the moment, including GMBN, I believe.
Yeah, but you may as well just pour it straight on the floor, to be honest, because that's all that's good for, isn't it? You're not really going to open a bottle like that. And if you're taking trail beers with you, let's face it, they've got warm.
Yeah.
Which is wrong. You're better off taking a bottle of red wine.
To you, isn't it? Wasting beer. And do you think that's how they lost their drinking competition with GCN? They just pour it on the...
nasty burn. In case anyone doesn't know, yeah. So at the Global Cycling Festival, which neither of us were at, unfortunately, the GMBN team let us down. They lost a beer drinking game to GCN.
You've been disappointed ever since, haven't you?
I have, but don't worry, I'm going next year. We're going to sort this out. We're going to win it back. But I'm fascinated by the fact that there seems to be bottle opening capabilities built into stuff. What have we missed? Have you got a cool bottle opener that's tool related out there? And did you know little cool things that Avid and SRAM have been doing for years on existing tools like pad spacers? You can pop open bottles of them. I think that's great. Good bit of fun. Okay, so into news, and the first thing we'll talk about these new Knipex pliers. So these are the twin grip slip joint pliers. And
try saying that after opening a few beers with them.
I'll try that later on today. So the point is, these are not by any means a bike tool. However, this is a super useful tool for a lot of people. Now, the thing that's really good about this is its ability to remove worn, knackered, damaged bolts, or even get bolts out that are in fine condition in really awkward places. Now, I'm sure at some point you've all had that issue. So I actually poached this from Knipex. So this is just basically a piece of bar with, I don't know, a bunch of different size bolts that are all slightly knackered in different ways on them. So you can try this out for yourself. So you can actually open a jaw like you can on all their classic locking pliers, but there's two different faces on them. Have a go on there. So obviously on the big side, but it's the end one that's unbelievable. The sheer grip that you can get on those, I reckon for any World Cup mechanic, you want a set of those if you haven't already got them in your toolbox.
Nice.
And I think they're just really worthwhile looking at as a safety tool, as in to get you out of danger, basically, when you've balls things up. Now, Joey, one of our creators, just before he went to Whistler, he managed to round off his seat collar and ended up having to cut the bolt, but I reckon we could have actually got the nut off the end with a pair of those if we'd have had them in time. Ooh. So they retail around 25 quid.
I like the nose down, actually.
Yeah, how good is the grip on it for what they are? Yeah, about 25 quid or so online, and I'm sure knowing Knipex, they're probably going to come in a few different sizes. That's the 200. Just a cool tool. Thought we should share it.
Yeah, I think that's biking related. I'm sure I've definitely had bolts get stuck in places that I didn't want them. Right, and so over to Hope Technology. They've just started some open source tools. Well, they're kind of some 3D printed, basically pad spacers and some bleeding aids. So basically they had a 3D printer in their factory and they were printing these spacers out for their employees to use and to help them bleed brakes or service individual pistons. And they thought, well, hey, we might as well just give these to the public. So if you go onto their website, you will actually see that you can download the open source designs for these if you've got a free 3D printer at home, and you can print them for yourselves, which I think is brilliant.
It would be brilliant. Hey, Hope, you could put a bottle opener in something like that. Just saying.
You could get a bottle opener in one of those pad spaces.
To be fair, they're probably got bottle openers anyway. I love that. Open source stuff is great.
Yeah.
And that's like the prime thing to do. That's really good.
And I know people who are already, we met that mechanic for Lapierre who was already chopping down pad spacers to do single piston servicing.
That's right,
and so
I forgot about that.
Now they've created their own that's basically fits perfectly so you can service them. I think it's a brilliant idea.
If you've got a 3D printer, that is right up your street. So, World Championships coming up at the end of this week. And we've just starting to see all the cool custom stuff coming through. Now, we're kind of friends with Ali from Fat Creations, and he's let slip a few very cool images, which we're going to fire up on screen now, of some of the Pivot team racing bikes. I just love the attention to detail that A, Fat Creations and other custom sprayers can do, and B, that the fact that the teams actually want to do this stuff for the racers, just to celebrate, hey, we've got someone racing the World Championships. Yeah. For us. This is so cool.
It's interesting to see what they've picked as their theme as well.
Yeah, so Jenna Hastings, I think you said it looks like Lightning McQueen.
It looks exactly like Lightning McQueen, yeah. You've got the eyes and the like,
face
flames.
On the front. Yeah, it's great. It might look like an old fighter jet paintwork almost, but obviously from cars. And next up, of course, in a Martini livery is Bernard Kerr's frame, which you could probably see, hopefully the video works, a little clip of some of the masking coming off. This is
that's
so
just
nice.
Next level.
It's got to be nice working on these sort of projects, isn't it? Like special bikes with a nod to, a race team or a very special message to the
racer. I
think
Kerr's like a big fan of the old sort of vintage cars, so it's no surprising. I'm a bit more of a Golf fan myself.
Yeah,
that
Golf
sort of
racing.
Orange and blue GT, Ford GT.
Hey, what's to say that someone else hasn't got one of those?
Oh, that's true.
Lined up. I remember Sandy Plenty had a bike done like that a few years back. And then there's Eddie Masters with this one, which is a bit of a nod from what we can make out to Burt Monroe, and it looks like a speed record bike from 1962, which is a very cool bike.
Very subtle, but
I don't know Burt Monroe. I'm probably going to get lynched for not knowing Burt Monroe, but he sounds like a bit of a legend from what I have read about him.
So what's Eddie saying with that? Is he going for a speed record at the Champs?
Who knows? I mean, I hope he does. He's a great racer, and he's super fast, and he is the sort of wild card that I think you could not count out at World Champs. Expect to see some more cool stuff. Renthal normally have custom handlebars that happen to be sprayed by Fat Creations for a lot of their athletes at the World Champs, so you might see some of that stuff popping up over the week. Keep an eye out on socials for World Champs stuff, and of course it's going on from Leger. Of course, the last time World Champs was in Leger was 2004. Which was, I didn't think they were ever going to host one after the after party at that one. If anyone was there for that, it was pretty bad. Surprised a lot of people survived, to be honest. But it was great. And they're going to be showing it, of course, from any decent event you're going to be attending over the bank holiday weekend. The Malverns are going to be showing it on the big screen, so I'll be there having a beer and watching. And if you're there, come and have a beer and watch it with me. Okay,
it is quiz time. So let's jump straight in. First question, 3D printing is a term often used for a particular method of manufacturing, but what is its proper engineering name?
Good question, I think I know the answer to that one. Who won the UCI World Downhill Championships last year? And bonus points if you can name the year he first won a World Championship as well.
And then given that there are a lot of lock-on grip choices out there, why would you want to use push-on style grips instead of lock-on? And bonus points, name 2 different ways you can fix them to your bars. Stay tuned for the answers.
Okay, comments time then. As always, loads of great comments. Thanks everyone for getting involved. We love reading our way through them. So far too many to post all of them, but first one from James Corrigan, leopard spots, please.
Oh yeah, we were talking about custom paint and expensive bikes, weren't you? Leopard spots, that'd be nice.
It looked good. In fact, Sam Pilgrim, his original nickname used to be Leopardhead. So when his mum used to bring him to events because he was too young to get there himself, I think he must have been like 14 or something, he used to have this piss pot style BMX helmet with a leopard skin print on it. And at the time, it wasn't cool at all. Everyone used to wear like the Bucky one, which had like sort of the milky colour top with the red strapping. Like that was the cool one to wear. So he had the nickname Leopardhead.
Oh.
And then everyone was like, who's that Leopardhead kid? He's amazing. And then literally overnight, he went from that to just being like one of the world's best riders.
Oh, nice. I think it's making a comeback. Troy Lee has started releasing leopard print. And
it never went away.
Yeah, all
it's like
right.
camo,
Leopard
it never goes
trousers.
away. It just comes around again.
Anyway, Tim Sadler, one of our regulars. Hey, Tim. Personally, I'd like to take my Common Sound Meta AM29 down to a raw with a clear coat once I get bored of the current colour. So he doesn't want colour at all. He wants no colour, the opposite of colour.
Tell you what, I may or may not have seen a Common Sound frame that sounds exactly like that recently. It does look very nice in that finish.
It looked like a prototype.
Yeah. Mr. Black says, as someone who used to airbrush custom stuff for motorbikes, I do see I do like seeing a decent paint job on a mountain bike too, but I kind of struggle to see the point in paying a lot of money to custom paint something that you're more likely to be cartwheeling down rocks and bashing the hell out of anyway. Pretty much the same reason why I painted my own Land Rover with a tin of Hammerite and a roller.
What? That man is an enigma. He's a professional airbrusher and he's painting his Land Rover with a roller. Brilliant.
I do get the Hammerite and a roller though. I do know a friend who's actually done a matte black roller on his van.
And that comes out
No,
good.
he regretted it instantly.
Yeah,
it kind of looks really cool from a distance and awful up close.
You're an airbrusher. Get involved. So Robbie Francis says, I'd love to see if a pro rider could be competitive on a stock £3,000 bike. Maybe in downhill.
I think.
Maybe.
Well, if you add a little tiny bit to that budget, just because it's very close to get bang on to £3,000. But I do know of a few bikes that are, I don't know, what, 3.2, something like that. I mean, you've got to bear in mind that a pro racer will still want, I don't know, their tyre preference, regardless of how good the tyre's on and grips and things like that. If you exclude that, swap for swap, I reckon they probably could. With some of the bikes out there today, the basic suspension is really good.
There's some £3,000 bikes that do come with decent suspension. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Whether it will last, I mean, I don't know, that's not fair to say a £3,000 bike wouldn't last, but...
I mean, some people are hard on bikes. Look at Rich, he absolutely crashes anything he rides.
Regardless of price.
You think he's a really light rider, but he absolutely kills bikes. Next up from Christopher Watson. I'm not a dentist, but I do have a custom Santa Cruz Bronson CC V4. The bike took me years to buy and build, so I've got a below average income. I'm a carrier who does a little busking with my guitar. Nice. That's cool. Believe me, even on low income, if you have the discipline and the drive to get the bike of your dreams, you can. Hey, do you know what? That's a great message for everyone. And also, I think there's a lot of people out there that see people on expensive bikes, just like you're referring to, and sort of take you with that sort of dentist brush.
They make the assumption that you've got a lot
absolutely.
Of cash to
So that's
splash.
a really, really good point, and one that everyone should take note of. If you save up hard enough, you can get whatever you want.
And good quality stuff should be a bike for life anyway.
Yeah. Completely random weak link in that. I was watching a YouTuber channel for a guy that does radio control cars, and he dreamed since he was a little boy of owning a monster truck. So he saved up for I don't know how long to raise the money to build one, because about 250 grand to build it, and he did it. But the same thing, he always wanted to do it, and he's done it, which I think is great.
Wow. So Blah Blah said, best upgrade you can get is free. Exercise your legs like a beast, and then you're just as fast as you're just as fast on an alley Dior bike as anyone on carbon XTR.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And George Lillian says, what about best value for your money? What's the sweet spot? Like Doddy did a video with the most expensive bike. Let's see a video with a bike that's the best fairly priced components. I'd love to see that. Well, you're going to get something fairly close to that soon. I'm actually about to build a bike. Shimano basically asked me to build a bike, and they didn't say do it on a budget, but they were like, build the best bike you can without basically spending loads of money. And you might be surprised what I picked and what I've put together. So you'll see that coming up on the channel in a few weeks.
Oh, maybe some speculation down in the comments.
Yeah,
How can we get...
What frame, what fork, what shock.
How budget.
I've already picked this stuff, by the way. So get involved though, see if anyone can guess what it might be. This is Top Mods, section of the show where we talk about all the cool stuff you've done to your bike to make it a bit better or a bit different to your mate's bike. If you've got anything cool you've done to yours, get involved. There's a link to our uploader here. There's one down there, hopefully, that you can click on. Tell us a bit about yourself, what you've done to your bike and all that cool stuff, and we'll put you on the show. First one this week is from Troy. This is just awesome. There's so many shots here as well. From California. The bike was given to me by a close friend as a partial payment for a wedding photography gig back in 2020 during the pandemic. And I told him I'll change this old black and white mountain bike to look more different and to my style. I've turned it into a mullet bike and I've changed the name to Tron. I'm a huge fan of the movie. Number 8 is my favourite basketball player, Kobe Bryant, and 34 is my basketball jersey number.
Oh, look, it looks brand new.
It's unreal, isn't it? But like just the paint job on the bike, the graphics, like literally everything has changed on there.
Some new forks, I think. New forks and shock by the looks of it.
Literally
new
everything.
Stickers for them.
But it's all about that paint job for me. I think that just looks really, really cool. And loving all those little details. So you've got the 34 there just under, is that a bowl cage?
Yeah,
don't even know what that
it
is.
might be like a fidlock.
Let's have a look. Yeah, it could be, could well be. RockShox rear shock on there. It's got a Monarch Plus on there, very nice. RockShox forks with graphics and decals to match that sort of Tron logo on the top tube there.
Nice.
Isn't it mad? I can't even believe it's the same bike. It's a bit like in Pulp Fiction with a car, isn't it? Where they put all the stuff on the inside and make his brains are blown all over it.
I feel like Top Mod is no longer Top Mod, it's Top Paint Jobs now. Everyone has got really involved in it.
That's a very good point. I would love to see some stuff that's not just paint jobs.
I mean, I love this. It's almost
unreal.
a section in itself now.
Let's not change it to Top Paint Jobs. Let's keep it as Top Mods. But I mean, look at just every single thing has changed on the bike. You would not know that that is the same bike. I mean, I think it's a pretty good example of like all of the Top Mods, all in one hit. The rest of the shots are just whizzing by on screen. We're going to dive out of this because there's so many shots and into this little bad boy.
Aw, cute. Do you think it could do with more pink though?
You could accentuate the pink by scribbling out the Maxxis logo, perhaps.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, but you see the yellow. But this is great. This is from Johnny. It says it's from Johnny, but it's a Diamondback Test 20-inch. And it says, my dad changed all the parts on my bike. And
Look at these lever covers. Do they still do these things?
I don't know.
I want lever covers.
I've probably still got some from the first time round. But look, it's got little like purple or pink anodized stem with little spaces underneath, little Fox decals on that fork.
How tiny are those forks? Are they actual Fox forks?
No, I don't think
kids?
so. I think
No?
I'm guessing it's just a regular kid suspension fork. But check out the little minions.
I can't believe, I didn't even know you could get them in that size.
I can't zoom in. Yeah,
Is that
it's
like
20
a 20-inch minion
Yeah.
DHR?
It's
Nice.
sick. Do you know, there's something on there that needs to make a comeback, I reckon. The rear Met guard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
on all old school bikes, namely kids' bikes, you just throw them on the floor and bend the rear derailleur. Yeah, we all know that the derailleur is a weak part of the bike. Why doesn't someone make a bit of a deflector?
I know, well, people are
can
still
go.
using those ugly hand guards, aren't they? So
Yeah.
I'd totally run one of those in the Alps for a week.
Lapierre did one a few years back. It was like a little carbon
Oh,
wing.
Lightville did one once
Did they?
as part of the bike that went, it was like a little bit that went over the derailleur.
I feel like we should design that somehow. And maybe we could get Hope to
We should
open
make our
source
own
it
Top Mod.
and put it out there. Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. And the last one this week is, you're like this, it's a gravel, well, it's not a gravel bike, it's a mountain bike turned into a gravel bike.
It's a rigid mountain bike is what
But
it
this
is.
is how it started life, which is a perfectly nice mountain bike.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
From Nick in Oregon, he says, bought this cheap hardtail a few years ago, thinking I'd build it into a sturdy trail rig, but realising the frame wasn't really built for what I wanted to do, so I changed it into more of a gravel build. So I went from
Fair
that
enough.
to that.
I've
looks
got like
pretty
skinny
quick.
gravel wheels on there.
Gravel wheels, rigid fork. Well, I know how that feels. Check your bottle
But
cages
is it
after
a
every
gravel
ride.
bike or is it just a rigid mountain bike?
To me, that's a gravel bike.
I feel like we've had an argument recently, haven't we?
Yeah.
In fact, this is a nice little.
After it.
Nice little plug for something that may or may not be coming out this weekend.
Yeah,
is it?
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it comes out this weekend or not.
Stay tuned.
But really nice to see. Thank you, everyone, for sending your bikes in. Don't forget that anything counts you do to your bike. You could just be putting a new set of handlebars on. We want to see what you do to make your bike better.
Okay, time for quiz answers. So 3D printing, often a term we use for a particular method of manufacturing, but what's its proper technical name? It is additive manufacturing.
Yes, indeed.
Geekiness. And then who won the UCI Downhill World Championships last year? Added bonus if you can name the first year he won one, which should have given you a clue. It is our old goat. It's Greg Minnaar won last year, and his first win was in 2003. Can you believe that? That is almost 20 years ago.
Where was that?
Still
Laguna
winning.
Or somewhere.
I don't know. And I think Leger was one of his wins. He's got a couple of silver medals, a few bronzes as well. You can never discount that guy.
Yeah, at his age, like that, he's like still a major threat constantly. Hats off.
And then, given that there are a lot of lock-on grip choices out there, why would you want to use push-on grips? Doddy, why would you want to use push-on grips?
For feel. Sometimes it's important. So lock-on grips are great and by far probably one of the most common upgrades, I would say, to a bike because they're dead easy to go on. It means you can adjust stuff. Push-on grips have more rubber in them for how thick the actual grip is. So you could argue that they're better for absorbing vibration and stuff. Danny Hart used them in 2016 to win a World Champs. Or they were on his bike that he won a World Champs on, what the point? And I know he's used them since and in certain conditions. And obviously to fix them onto the bars and stuff, you can either glue them on, you can get specific glue or cement for that, or you can go old school like the motocrossers do and wire them on.
I'm a hairspray gal, but I've never seen anyone wire.
I'm a hairspray gal as well, come on.
I've never seen anyone wire on grips, so explain here.
So basically you get the wire, they're not just for grips, it's safety wire in general, and you have a tool like this, you lock this over the end of the wire in place, and then you basically twizzle the end, and the way you do it is you literally pull this, but when that's on the wire, you pull it and it unwinds the perfect amount.
Yeah, it's
a great tool.
One of those sort of bread twizzly bag closer
exactly
things.
that same thing, and it just puts loads of tension on. Quite often you have 3 portions on the grip. So you can get grips like, I know, Renthal and ODI have grips that have got channels in them specially for that, and that's a dead cert way of keeping them on your bars.
Nice. I feel a video coming on soon.
There is, funnily enough.
All right, well, that's all we've got time for today, so thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next week.
Ta-ra.
Bye.